And because Resolve is modular, you don't really need to use any of the other tabs. You can simply work strictly in the Cut tab, which is as simple as any beginner software can be. It's unbelievable. I receive a lot of emails with a very simple question. Hi, I'm a content creator. I'm just starting. Is Resolve right for me? Resolve seems to be very complex, and I heard that it should only be used by professionals. Can I use Resolve? And all I want to do today is to clarify this myth about Resolve. No, it's not true at all. Resolve is pretty easy and simple, if not the easiest. And I think it's the right choice for all starting content creators, filmmakers, anyone who wants to edit video. Resolve is the right choice for them. Let me explain why. Hi, I'm Alex Jordan from Learn Color Grading and FilmSimplified.com. And before we start, just a quick disclaimer. I love Resolve, I teach Resolve, and I believe in Resolve. And I think it's the right choice at the moment for anyone who wants to start with this field. So with that in mind, let's start. In this video, we're not going to be discussing what makes Resolve great. We're only going to be discussing what makes Resolve suitable for starting filmmakers. First of all, you have the interfaces. For editing, Resolve utilizes two different interfaces. First, you have the Edit tab. The Edit tab is a fully functional, very powerful, very advanced NLE. So it basically it's an editing interface that can do anything you want. But Resolve also includes the Cut tab. Think of the Cut tab as a very simplified version of the Edit tab that is almost designed for beginners, for people who are just starting. So the Cut tab removes all the clutter around you. So for beginners, it's very simple. You have your films, your timeline, and your monitor, and there's nothing else. And this makes it almost too easy, if I can say that. That makes it extremely easy. But other than being simple, other than having a very simplified interface, it also utilizes a lot of features that are designed specially to make the editing process much, much easier. For example, think of Smart Insert. Smart Insert is basically Resolve trying to prevent you from making any mistakes. So let's say you place the playhead at the right point where you want to insert a clip, and you try to insert the clip. Resolve will understand that because there is an edit point closer or close to the playhead, the Resolve will not be inserting the clip at the place you asked it for. It will actually correct things and insert it at the place where the clip should be inserted, which is extremely important for beginning filmmakers. That is one thing. Then you have the very simple stuff like how you navigate the timeline. Resolve in the Edit tab utilizes a very simple swipe to navigate. So you basically swipe on the trackpad to navigate the timeline. And the timeline itself in the Edit tab is basically previewed in two different ways. So you have two different views of the same timeline. One zoomed out all the time to show you exactly your position on the timeline, and the other is zoomed in, allowing you to perform, your edit. And when I work with beginners and they look at this, they're like, "Are you sure not every other software utilizes the same thing?" And I'm like, "No, it's only Resolve," and they just can't believe it. So this is one of the other things that make Resolve very easy to use, or have a very simplified interface for beginners. Then you have the way you export from the Cut tab. The Cut tab utilizes a very simple, quick export button that when you click this button, there are no controls. Basically, you just click, choose a preset, and export. It's as simple as that. So you can actually export right from the Cut tab in a very simple way, without having to deal with any of the complexities of the export tab in Resolve. As a beginner, you don't need to use any of the other tabs in Resolve. Beginners can simply start, open the Cut tab, which is the very simplified interface in Resolve, and just work there. You can import your footage there, perform your edit there, fix any audio problems like gain, for example, or muting audio in certain clips, and export. And because Resolve is modular, you don't really need to use any of the other tabs. You can simply work strictly in the Cut tab, which is as simple as any beginner software can be. It's unbelievable. One of the other things that makes Resolve the right choice for beginners is the fact that it's platform agnostic, which simply means that it can be installed on any computer. So it doesn't care. The Windows, it works on Windows. Apple's, it works on Apple systems. And even Linux, it works on Linux computers. So this gives you a huge choice of hardware to pick from based on your budget. And a lot of filmmakers, they don't have a huge budget to work with. So this is very important for them because they can simply choose any system with their particular budget. Then you have the fact that we speak of budget, they have the fact that you do not need to pay the Adobe subscription every year of around $600. For a lot of beginner filmmakers, that's basically very important because, again, $600 a year, which seems to be like it's going to keep on increasing in the future. So the question is, knowing all this, why do some filmmakers recommend Premiere Pro for beginners? Well, the problem is that everything comes down to habit. These filmmakers usually recommend the tools that they are using themselves. And most of them started at a certain time and they started using Premiere Pro most of the time before it actually became a subscription service. And they're used to it. Switching is very hard, so there's nothing wrong with that, but they're simply recommending what they're using. However, as a starting filmmaker, or content creator, if you go with the recommendations based on their habits, you're setting yourself to paying $600 a year for the rest of your life. Just think about that. And because you're just starting, you don't have any habits to change. You can simply start with Resolve right away. It's actually more professional. I'm not going to get into the debate of which is more professional. I certainly believe that it's more professional than Adobe products, but let's say hypothetically that Resolve and Premiere and all the Adobe suite are on the same level exactly. Still, it's $600 less a year. So that was to answer the question, because a lot of people, they have this thing, Resolve seems complicated. Yes, when you look at it from far, it seems complicated because it's just one software that does it all. However, it's super compartmentalized, which means that you don't need to use all the features. You can in the future, if you want to grow your career, you can totally start using all the other tabs in Resolve and work professionally with it. However, as a content creator who doesn't want to work with all these tabs, you can simply use one tab, which is the Cut tab, and it eliminates the need to use any other tab as long as you want, it just will cover all your basic requirements, for editing and content production. I hope that clarifies the question. If you like this, please visit us at filmsimplify.com, where you can join our free Resolve crash course that is designed for the absolute beginner, and it covers the basics of all the tabs in Resolve. Thank you.
filmsimplify.com.